Okay.
Clothes on my back, shoes on my feet, running away, from what I can't see. No, I waited out. It still ain't helping me, yeah. I talked it out, but no one is hearing me. I'm spinning in and out of waterfall, and I can't find my way out. No, no, city fall, no, no, city fall, city fall, yeah, 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 city fall. I built up my walls, yeah, and every building is surrounding me. Oh, I can barely see the sunlight. Depression has got a hold on me, yeah. It's been too long, too long, too long since the day has been gone, and these nights are mighty cold to me, yeah. And I tried and I tried to get out of this mess, but I still remain in these streets, oh. And I'm spinning in and out of waterfall, and I can't find my way out. City fall, oh yeah, oh city fall. You gotta go and get on out of my way, yeah. CD phone.
Okay, now we're joined by Joshua Ledet. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing fantastic. Thank you so much for coming out.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We look forward to finding out more about your music. Now, I understand you were born in Louisiana.
Yes.
Tell us about your growing up. You know, was music in the house? You know, obviously music in church. What were your earliest memories of music, and what was your journey to want to do music yourself?
In my house, there was a lot of quartet music, a lot of gospel music being played. My father's a pastor, so I went to church every Sunday, and I would see my mom sing in church all the time. Then eventually, my older brothers and my sisters would sing as well, but I was just a little guy there, so I couldn't sing with them.
Mm-hmm.
I would sing around the house so much, and it's just something that I just love to do. I studied it. I watched so many artists sing, and I loved how they could actually perform and captivate people. That's what it was for me. I wanted to please people, and I wanted people to be like, wow, this guy can sing. So
you saw the reaction of the singing.
Yeah. And I always liked to be kind of sort of the center of attention when it came to my brothers and sisters. So I studied, and I sang, and about when I was 12 years old, I sang my first song in church. And No one could believe it. They were all shocked. They didn't know that I could actually sing. Singing is one thing, but when you can sing and have the audience feel you and feel what you're singing about, that's a difference. And I think I can feel a connection with the people while I'm singing, and it kind of shocked them. They were just like stunned. I think it was just mostly trying to help people.
So you really got a feel for the exchange of energy,
Yeah.
the one singing and the people reacting to it, and
Yes.
maybe even giving it back to the singer and seeing that singer
Yes.
really create that bond
Absolutely.
with the audience.
Yes.
That's amazing. Do you remember who some of the first artists that you heard that you actually either asked who that was or to recognize what you were listening to?
You know, I grew up. My father was like a quartet junkie, I guess you could say. So we listened to a lot of Canton spirituals, the Christianaires. Clark Sisters was a group that my mother listened to that I studied. James Brown and Aretha Franklin. It's a lot of the old souls. So I didn't too much listen to what was on the radio at the time, but I guess people don't really understand the music was so different back then. 60s, 40s. It's just a feeling that it gave off, an energy that it gave off. That today's music, a lot of time you don't really find it, and I grew up listening to a lot of the old souls.
And so many of these performances were pure. They
Yeah.
weren't punched in and auto-tuned. I mean, the performance was very much live in one take.
Yeah. And most of the instruments were really out of tune back in the day, and now it's like everything is so perfect. Every instrument is in tune. Every note is sang in perfect pitch, or if it's not, it's auto-tuned in perfect pitch. And it's just like everything is so perfect, so you have this perfect song. But back then, it was so many things were wrong, but it felt so right. It's like
What gave it the human nature?
Yeah.
You know, you really felt like it was a live performance, and you were listening to a real person, and not everyone sounds the same. Not everyone plays the same.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're missing that in today's music.
Yeah, we are, definitely.
Yeah.
It's all about the emotion, and the emotion at that time. Like it'd be times I'd be in the studio and I would sing a note, and it wouldn't be perfect, but we wouldn't do another take because of the emotion that was behind the mistake. If that makes any sense.
Of course.
Yeah. I could have sang it in perfect pitch or perfect note, but the emotion was so strong behind the wrong pitch, we just left it. It's like certain things you should just leave because of the emotion.
Yeah, it
You never
adds
get
character.
again. Yeah, I agree.
Do you remember who the first male vocalist you heard that really blew you away, that you wanted to hear more of?
You know, I'd have to say the lead singer of the Christianaires. I think his name is Harvey or something like that. I wasn't sure of his name exactly, but I studied the group. I always studied the group so much, and just how he could do so many tricks with his voice was ridiculous. And it was a group of them, so it was pretty awesome.
It's amazing stuff. Now tell us about how that evolved into, you know, starting to sing your own songs or starting to think about being a singer. You know, I know I read that your first major concert you saw was Beyonce. Is that right?
Yeah, no, I don't think. I think someone just like put that.
Okay.
Well, my first concert probably. You know, honestly, I never really been to a concert.
Okay.
Just recently, I went to see Lauryn Hill live in LA.
Oh, you went to the Greek Theater?
The Greek Theater, yeah.
It's a beautiful place.
Yeah, it is. Um, but you know, we were really just growing up listening to music in church and people
Okay.
perform in church. Uh, yeah, I've never really been interested in attending concerts. I don't know why, which is really strange because I love music, but I guess I'm just like sort of a stay-at-home person. Just
Yeah.
stay to myself.
Well, the recorded work is, enough.
Yeah.
Certainly the live performance is important, but the rich history that we have in recorded work, especially in American soul music, is so legendary all around the world. I talked to a lot of the biggest artists from England and
Yeah.
all over the world, and American rhythm and blues music, American soul music has such a profound influence, on so many of the biggest artists in the last 40, 50 years. So it's a rich heritage to pull from.
Yeah. Nice.
Now, obviously, you had the great American Idol experience. Tell us about trying out. I believe you went to Houston, was it, to try
Yeah.
out? Talk about the evolution of getting on the show and what that whole experience was like.
Well, first year I tried out, I was 16. I auditioned in Florida, and I didn't make it past the first round. The second year I did it, I was 18 years old. I made it all the way until the celebrity judges, and then I got cut. And so the last year, the first two times I went, I had it on my mind like, I'm going to get it, I'm going to get far, I want to make it, and I didn't make it. And the last year, I was kind of like fed up. I was like, I don't even want to audition. I just did it just to do it because it was so close to my home auditions. And I did it, and I actually made it. And that's when I started to realize that it wasn't just singing. It was something greater than that. It was it wasn't just getting behind the mic and opening your mouth and singing to people. It was sort of like helping them, like putting your life and the journey you've been through in your life, certain situations, you put it through your music and help other people through song and through music. That's what I try and do. Situations that I've been in, no matter if it's good or bad, you put it in your music and try to help someone else do that. That's when I started to come to my senses that it was more than just singing.
Yeah, you want to make them feel the music and, be touched.
Yeah, absolutely.
You want to feel the pain or feel the joy or feel the passion.
I agree.
Yeah. So now talk about, obviously at that point they say you're going to Hollywood.
Yeah.
What was that like for the first time coming to Hollywood, and talk about the experience of going through the performances on the show?
Oh, geez. When I made it to Hollywood, I was like, okay, this is kind of crazy. I didn't expect it at all because I guess you can say, I don't know, I don't want to say this, but sometimes you feel that it's not really about the singing. It's about being the whole package, I guess you could say. Just singing, the look, and what you wear, and all of that stuff. So, we had these great singers there. Everyone was great, and you would see, like, your friends that you had made, they're, like, amazing singers, and they get cut. So you didn't know if you were going to make it through or not. So hearing that yes to Hollywood was like, okay, this is, like, serious now. You gotta play hardball. It was a pretty fun experience.
So how many different weeks, how many different performances did you go through during that show?
Man, it's so many performances. It's like, a lot of times, I don't think America sees most of the performances. We performed way more than they showed on TV. As far as the rounds that we had to go through in order to get on the show. I think it's like four or five rounds we had to perform before we actually even got on TV. And then Hollywood Week, there were rounds that we did that were never shown. And there were different rounds in Vegas, that performances in Vegas that were never shown. So it was a lot of singing, definitely a lot of singing, tough on your voice and your mental state. Like you'd see people losing it because this is their dream. This is what they want to do, and they end up being cut. Like it was a lot of singing.
Mm.
Yeah.
Now talk about what some of the highlights were for you, because I know obviously the duet you did to the George Michael and Aretha song, that was a standout. I know You Were Waiting for Me with Jessica, but besides that, what were some of the other highlights for you that you felt were your best performances?
Honestly, I couldn't choose. America chose When a Man Loves a Woman and James Brown. That's what they liked the most.
Now, how much of the selection was your process and how much was theirs, or did they kind of give you a batch to choose from?
Yeah, well, everything was my decision. They gave us a list.
Yeah.
The list was so big.
Yeah.
Like every song in the world was on the list. If the song wasn't on the list, it was because of the artist didn't want their song on the show.
Right, they didn't have rights to it.
So they gave us a choice to sing any song that we wanted. If it matched the category that week. Some weeks is rock week, some weeks are soul weeks and Billy Joel week, like just different artists. We had to sing certain songs. But other than that, I chose every song that I wanted.
Now going in to do a James Brown song or Percy Sledge or these iconic songs, how much of it were you trying to do to stay true to the original, and how much did you try to really add your own to it?
Well, like when I would sing a song when I was younger, I would hear a song, and to my mom, she would stop it. I didn't know if we should keep going.
Yes.
Okay, no, sorry. When I was younger, I would hear my mom tell me all the time, "That's not how that song goes. You're changing it yourself." So I don't know. I guess I just it's kind of a natural thing. I didn't really try to change it or sing it the way they did. I just sang it, and I guess it came off a little different than the original.
Right.
Yeah.
So you knew the original, but you didn't try and stay like a complete copy of it.
No, I didn't. Yeah, I just sang it what I felt. Like if I felt I needed to do a high note on this part, then I would do it. I didn't really, or I guess I just really studied the melody of the song, and then took that and just did it however I felt.
Now I know some of the high praise you got after that. I Knew You Were Waiting for Me duet with Jessica Sanchez. Randy Jackson had proclaimed that was one of the best performances, and to get the praise from people like Randy that had heard so many performances, heard so many artists over the years.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Oh man, it was crazy. It's coming from someone that actually knows, actually experienced hearing the greats, and to hear him say that was just it was humbling, and it was like, gosh, you might really have a chance at having a career of being a performer, a singer. You have these legends sitting on a panel telling you that you're good. It's a good feeling. It's definitely an encouragement, and it pushed me to do more. It kept me going, because a lot of times I wanted to stop and be like, I'm not gonna ever be famous. I'm not gonna ever have a career just because of my voice. It's so like not in at this season. It's so old, and we're in this new generation. So I was like, I don't even think I have a chance. So hearing stuff like that is what really kept me going, pushed me.
And were there some private moments where he or any of the other judges kind of pulled you aside and gave you some encouragement? Anything we didn't see on TV?
No, you know, they really weren't allowed to, because it's for the simple reason there was 10 of us. So
Okay.
if they gave, you know, advice to one,
Right.
then it would be kind of cheating. But you know,
They were
sometimes
careful.
we'd be backstage, and they'd like ask us, like, "What are you singing tonight?" And like we tell them, and then you know, they'd say this and that, like, you know, "You're amazing, you know, keep doing your thing. You were amazing last week, and I can't wait. You're gonna rock it this week." You know, they would give us encouragement, but they were never really allowed to have a relationship outside of the show.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
We'll talk about coming down to the wire there. Obviously, you made it really far. You know, what was it like when it really got down to like that top 5, top 4? You know, what was that feeling like? Obviously, you didn't get number 1, but then again, some of the biggest successes off the show weren't the number 1 guys, but the people that came in later.
Yeah, yeah.
I think Chris Daughtry was like 5th or 8th or
Yeah,
something.
it was like 8th.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what was like? What was that feeling like? Was there a bit of a relief when you finally got to that end position?
You know, we all wanted to win.
Yeah.
And you know, just making it further and further and further, the top 5, I was like, wow, like, you know, I wanted to say I was amazed and happy. I was happy, very happy, but you know, at that point of the show, you're kind of like wanting to get it over with. You get tired. You really have a set schedule every day of the week, like literally every day. You wake up.
So there was a bit of a relief.
8 o'clock, 10 o'clock. Set schedule. You eat at this time. You work at this time. You rehearse at this time. You sleep at this time. So you know, it kind of, you know, it's kind of relief. Yeah. We wanted to just find out who was gonna win.
Sure.
Who was gonna get it. We wanted it to be over.
So after the experience was over, I know it was a little obviously new to you, this whole experience. What did you think is the greatest thing you brought out of that? From all that you experienced, all that you learned, when you look back at it, what do you think was the greatest gain for you? Besides obviously the exposure and that, but what do you think your greatest gain was?
Kind of understanding that it wasn't just about singing; it was a business, show business.
The whole package.
Yeah. You know, growing up in Louisiana, watching TV, you think it's just singing and performing, and getting rich and becoming famous. But being on that show, it definitely, like, it opened up a lot of reality. It's showing you, like, you know, there's cameras involved. There's people looking at the way you're dressed, things you say, and there's a lot of money
the image,
involved.
the moves.
Yeah. It's a business before it is singing, and I think that's what it showed me. I gained that from it. Realized that.
Well, talk about your solo music now, and I know you've been able to take this over to Asia and some foreign countries. Talk about what the experience is like now to go out and take your songs like "Here to Die" or "Love Can Do" and, you know, "City Fall." Talk about those songs and your experiences so far taking those to other lands.
Just to be able to travel the world is a big deal for me, because, you know, I was scared to get on an airplane and fly here to California.
Yeah.
So now I'm like traveling and seeing other parts of the world that I've never seen, and singing to. It's like a different race of people, which
People that don't even speak English as their main language.
Exactly. And the way they react to music, my style of music, soul music, really is amazing, because I guess you could say they appreciate music so much more, and they get it. They get the connection. They get the feeling. They get everything. It's just really different. I don't know what it is, but it's different in those other parts of the world. So being able to go there and perform our music is ridiculous. I never thought I'd get on a plane. So yeah, it's awesome.
Also shows you that music is the universal language, that
Yeah.
you know, a guy from Louisiana can take a song and thrill people many thousands of miles from there.
Yeah. And have them, it's like they understand it, but they don't even speak the same language I do.
Yeah.
I can understand the music, but not me when I'm talking to you. It's like weird, but
Yeah. We'll talk a little bit about, you know, the idea behind, you know, Here to Die and Love Can Do. What are those songs about, and what do they mean to you?
Here to Die is actually the first song I've ever wrote. I've never released that song. It was just something because I had been off the show, and I guess you could say I had a hard time getting my career off the ground. And my fans would constantly like ask me, "When is music coming out? When is music coming out?" I didn't know what to tell them, like, you know. So I took some of my money and I paid a buddy of mine, Mr. Gordon Campbell. He's a drummer, famous drummer, and like he started off producing, and you know he showed me a couple of beats when I was on tour that he had, and I was like, okay, this is sick. So I bought a flight here by myself. I just came and I paid him some money, and we went in the studio, and we came up with that beat and that music, and I sat down and I wrote the lyrics on a piece of paper. I wasn't really confident in my writing because I guess you could say I'm real sensitive when it comes to my work. I don't like people saying anything bad about it. So he just let me do my thing, and you know, he didn't tell me anything, he didn't say anything negative. I just wrote and we put it together. So it was pretty dope. And Love Can Do, I heard the song and just the message of the song, Bernie Herms, and we like, you know, just made magic with that as well. It's all about, I think it's all about the message. I think a lot of people get so caught up in just listening to the music and listening to the melody that they actually miss the message in the song.
Yeah.
Which is really important for me. I want to sing about something that has meaning. And I feel that if a lot of people sometimes just pay attention to what it is that we're actually saying in the music, the singers are saying, and not just singing along with it, or not just listening to the music and the melody, but the actual message, things could change. It could help them in their lifestyle in different situations.
Yeah, you don't want to just move the people, but you want to leave them with something that's lasting, you know, something that's inspiring, or maybe it becomes a favorite when they're around family or during holidays or celebrations.
The song is here forever. Once it's recorded, once it's released, people have it. It's never going away. So when I'm dead and gone, and I'm not here anymore, like, I want to leave a message behind that has meaning. I don't want to just sing about something that's pointless, something that people can do on their everyday life. I want to sing about something that people need the answer to. People don't know everything. I don't know everything. So, you know, when I would hear tracks that like gave me the answer to some things, that was amazing. I like learning. So leaving a message behind that can teach someone is pretty important to me.
Well, as you craft what will become your debut album and come up with more and more songs, what are some of your goals besides leaving a lasting mark on the industry and leaving some timeless music behind? Do you have any other goals, any other things in mind that you're really passionate about?
Yes, I always say this, but I want to be, you know, 'cause you know how it is with my style of music. It's so hard to, you know, become mainstream, which I'm not really aiming to be mainstream. It's not important to me. but I want to sell out arenas all over the world. I want to have a fan base just like a mainstream artist or a commercial artist.
Yeah.
Like I want to sell out Madison Square Garden. I want to sell out Rock in Rio. I want to do that big jazz festival. Like it's different events that I want to do. That's like that you wouldn't normally see like my type of singing there. Like I want to do that. I want to have an audience like Michael Jackson being this soul singer. If that makes sense.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Fantastic.
Yeah.
And what you've learned through your experiences, what advice do you have to the young singers, the young musicians, young creative people today, as far as the level of passion or dedication it takes to not only to be a student of the game, but master of your craft? Because like you say, it's not just about playing your instrument or singing the song, but really becoming the total package, the entertainer and the entrepreneur and the businessman. What advice do you instill in these young artists coming out?
I always tell them to stay true to themselves, and that they're always right when it comes to their gift. I don't feel that anyone can tell you much. I mean, there's always room for learning different things, but as far as the way you do it, it should be totally up to you. You have to feel it. If you don't feel it, then it's just going to be like everyone else. Because, you know, the same thing that, for instance, like if you're in the studio working on the track and the producer is telling you to do this and do that, okay, the next artist he works with, he's probably going to be telling them the same exact thing. So, you know, it's kind of like a cloning thing, I guess you could say. Here's so much music that sounds the same today, but when an artist is true to himself and does what he wants, that's when it's different. So no one else is gonna have that same feeling, that same idea. That's what sets you aside from everyone else. So I always tell them to stay true to themselves.
I also think it's important to, be inspired by the artist, but really stretch the boundaries, take risks, really lead rather than just be a follower.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to be different.
Yeah.
I always say stand out, don't blend in. I think it's a lot of people, they find comfort in following, they're in the pack.
Yeah.
But when you go out on that limb and be your total self or be different, it's kind of lonely out there on the limb, but understand all these artists, and James Brown to Aretha to whoever we've talked about, Luther, all of them, they went out on their limb and they were themselves.
That's what it's about. It's about just taking a risk, not caring what people think.
That's great. And obviously music means a whole lot to you and all of us. And as technology grows, we're all concerned that we make sure that this technology is not moving too fast, and this younger generation think music is free and no one needs to pay for anything, and because we all know not only the great unique value that music has, but the lasting quality. To be able to spend a few dollars and have an album that, like you say, could last for hundreds of years. And some of this music we listen to is well over 40, 50 years old already.
Yeah.
What message do you have to, the younger generation to realize that, music does have a value, and it's important to support the arts and those that make it, so we can continue to bring it?
I guess I could say just sit back and listen, instead of just singing, and instead of just listening, sit back and listen. Like really listen to the message and see that it's more than them just singing on a track, or it's more than them just having a good time in the studio. It's actually help, and I feel that people begin to realize we have to support this. We can't let music go, because music speaks to the soul. Music music can help in so many ways, and if people just get a hold of that and realize that, I think that, you know, they would always support it and continue to buy it and not illegally download it like I used to do a long time ago, but
Yeah.
yeah.
What's important, because you realize everyone from the musicians to the recording studio, from the choreographers to the video to the, you know, the retailers, exists because people consume music.
Yeah.
And we're talking about very unique talents. These recordings that we're talking about that inspired you and that you're singing,
Yeah.
you know, have a priceless quality.
Yeah.
And we're all for keeping the prices low, but free cannot
No,
exist
it can't.
an entire ecosystem.
It can't.
If food was free and gas was free, you know, all those companies would go out of business too.
Yeah, exactly. You have to keep the music alive, you know. I think music is actually devalued, sort of.
Yeah, it's important to maintain the value.
It's very, I think
It's
music.
one of America's greatest exports.
Yeah,
The whole world looks to America for our music and entertainment,
yeah,
and that's a huge value.
yeah. You can change the world with music, and yet it's so cheap to access. Never understood that. So easy to access, so easy to get, but it's so powerful.
Yeah.
But something so powerful be so cheap. Yeah.
Well, Joshua, thank you very much.
Yeah.
We love your music. Can't wait to
Thank
help
you.
keep spreading the word.
Thank you for having me.
Please keep it up.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Yeah, this is Joshua Ledet.
If you have music in your heart, you got indie power.
City phone. Oh, city phone. Yeah.